24 years old Amy Bechtel lived in a small apartment with her husband in Lander, Wyoming. The couple had no children and both worked at a local sporting goods store. She always hoped to become an Olympic marathoner someday. The couple had just bought a house in July of 1997 and were bringing their furniture and other stuff little by little from their apartment to their new house. On July 24th, Amy left her apartment at 9:30 a.m. to do some tasks for the new house. She was last seen at 2:30 p.m. in a photo shop in Lander. At 4:30 p.m., Amy's husband named Steve arrived back at their new house and started to move boxes. He was consumed by his work for several hours until it was 10:30 p.m. At that time, Steve started to get worried where his wife is. He called the authorities and a search was started. Amy was a member of local health club and the club was holding a 10K run on the same day Amy went missing. Amy used to go regularly to this club to exercise. The route for the race was along Loop Road in Shoshone National Forest. Law enforcement found Amy's car close to the running trail and believed Amy left the photo shop, went to the race location, exited her car and checked the route or ran the tournament. Amy's sunglasses and daily list were found in her car, but her wallet was missing. Law enforcement focused on the husband, which is normal in such cases. Steve cooperated with the investigation until he became a suspect, so he got a lawyer and refused to talk. It doesn't make that much sense for Steve to kill his wife because they just bought a house together, and if he wanted to kill her, why would he do it close to the running tournament that was going on in that area? People could easily pass and see them. 6 years after Amy disappeared, an elk hunter was in the area close to where police found Amy's car, where he found a Timex Iron Man watch similar to one Amy was wearing at the time of her disappearance. They never tested the watch to see if they can find Amy's DNA. The watch was found close to a riverbed, which wasn't the route Amy would be running for the running tournament. There is a possibility Amy was running on the route and a car pulled up and abducted her. This possibility would not account for the watch being found close to riverbed. As a tribute to Amy, the local health club named the 10K run as Amy Bechtel Hill Climb. Another woman named Anne Wagner from Lander went missing in 2005, 8 years after Amy went missing. Anne left a note just before she went missing stating she was going to Ocean Lake, 12 miles northwest of the route Amy would be running for the 10K running tournament. On September 2005, a hiker spotted Anne's car a few hundred yards off the loop road. This was the route for the 10K running race. The police claimed they did a search and found Anne's body, but they never released the location or the cause of death of Anne. Anne and Amy both disappeared on Loop Road, both were alone and both disappeared close to Shoshone National Forest. There is another woman who went missing in this area with the name of Kathleen Pehringer. It's worth noting, after the initial search for Amy, 25 FBI agents from Denver came to the scene to help with the investigation. FBI only gets involved in missing cases if there is evidence there was a foul play involved. What really happened to Amy, Anne, and Kathleen remains a mystery to this day. William Mays and Ernest Paulides were on a summer vacation at Alcoa Aluminium of Cleveland in July of 1943. Both men were on their 20s. William liked to fish and Ernest was a mountain climber. The two hiked into an area known as Indian Peaks Wilderness, a very desolate and forbidden area. There are only few trees at higher elevation and rough cliffs which made climbing super difficult. The two friends set up a camp and William started to fish in Crater Lake. While William was fishing, Ernest got interested in the south side of the lake where there was Eagle Peak. When Ernest didn't come back from the mountains, William first searched the immediate area and then notified the authorities. A massive 6-day search was started. As soon as the search team got to the area, a heavy rain started to pour down. The only thing the searchers found in the area to even say there was a human being there was a mud and rock basin made to gather water. They found a water basin 2,000 feet up the mountain from the lake William and Ernest were staying at. If you look at the map and photos of the area, you'll realize it's very hard to be lost in this location. There are not many large boulders and it has many acres of wide open terrain, but somehow Ernest Paulides was never found. Mrs. Vaughn was working at her house in Gentile Valley of southeast Idaho, just northwest of Bear Lake in August of 1883. As she was cleaning the house, she realized her 18-month-old son, James, was missing. She searched the immediate area and after not finding James, she asked neighbors for assistance and 17 neighbors responded. In the afternoon of the first day, searchers found some huge bear tracks. The men followed the track through canyons and valleys until they reached Bear Lake. As it got darker and searchers didn't find anything, they went back home. In the early morning of the next day, 3 men went back to the area where they saw the huge bear tracks. At 10 a.m., searchers found James curled up in bushes. He was asleep with his little tattered and torn dress thrown over his head. Close by, beside the sleeping child, they found a warm bed that searchers thought must have belonged to a very large bear which had abandoned its captive on approach of the searchers. James did not have his shoes on, and he had a slight scratch on one foot. The child was carried for 4 miles through valleys and some very rough terrain and bushes. Bear experts believe this is an unusual behavior from a bear. Bears either eat the child or drop the child and flee, but they don't cuddle and keep the child warm all night. If the bear was carrying the kid by his mouth, the kid must have been close to ground, so he should have had more scratches, but they never found such a thing. The kid was in a really good condition. What really happened in Gentile Valley of Idaho in August of 1883 remains a mystery to this day.